Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by to check out our latest video. In this episode we're going to be continuing our trip through British Columbia and the Gulf Islands up to Nanaimo, and we'll also discuss what to do when you run aground. Before we get started, we'd like to thank all of you for your great comments in our last episode and for your thumbs up, and thank you also to our new patrons and supporters of our channel. We really appreciate it. We're headed up to Clam Bay. And we'll be there in a couple hours. The wind holds. Right now we have a current against us, but we've got the wind with us, so we're slowly poking our way up. Right now we're anchored in Clam Bay, and it's a beautiful, calm morning. Nice and sunny out. Yesterday was kind of cold and windy. We had a northerly wind blowing, but this morning it's beautiful, and we're going to head up to Nanaimo a little bit later. Oh, that's nice. Right into the sun. Very romantic place up here. Some good sailing, and every evening you can be in a different anchorage.
Yes.
We're just going to lift up our outboard, take the outboard off the dinghy, and then, are we going to lift up the dinghy too or not?
Yes.
We're going to lift up the dinghy, so when we go through the Dodd Narrows we don't have a little drag on our boat. There's our little hoist out there. We use that to hoist up the
And our
engine.
stove chimney, I put an addition, a gallon bucket, so if it's strong winds, stove downstairs doesn't smoke.
Julie's classic design, right there. Works good though. Been nice and cozy inside. Just getting ready to lift up our outboard. Holding onto it?
Here is find 2 loaves of bread, more like a baguettes. Susan just made it. We are supplied by bread on the way to Nanaimo. And here is a cook.
Next to my trusty old Dickinson.
Kind of.
We're just getting ready to go through the Dodd Narrows north to Nanaimo. And you can see up there that little narrow area. We should be there in about a half an hour, and it should be down to about 1 knot or less. At its maximum today it was 7 knots, so it's not the time you want to go through. Well, we're ready to go through the pass, but for some reason this big boat is not going. We might just have to pass them and go around. Here's some of the houses that are right before Dodd Narrows. Got a nice little view here. A little weird currents here. Churning away. Just coming into Nanaimo. Dodging little log rafts. This is the buoy that's marking the rock right up there, or the reef. Just starting to rain as we're coming into the anchorage, Newcastle Island. Where's the summer? That's why everything's so nice and green here, though. It needs a lot of rain. We really do love it. We're setting our anchor. We just anchored by Newcastle Island. Behind it. It's low tide. See those rocks over there? If you come inside, I'll make you something warm from lunch. So we're all situated here in Nanaimo. We anchored. The sun kind of sort of came out.
If you only check the charts, you would know there is a reef here. The reef is marked right here by this buoy. But he did not pay attention to it, and luckily ended up on the high on the reef. Hope he didn't hold his boat. I will go talk to the guy to see what happened, if I can help him any. The captain of the sailboat on the reef, we met later on in Pender Harbor. He turned out to be a very nice guy and actually quite experienced, but he made one mistake by letting his helper take over the helm while he went downstairs to check on his engine. And naturally his helper thought that going on the wrong side of a buoy it will be faster.
We once knew a couple that had a 50-foot sailboat, and every time they took the boat out, they ended up being towed back in by a towboat.
So for novices, or pretty much anyone with not much of experience, it is a very good idea to belong to some club like a Boat USA, towboats and so forth. The problem is this here, that when you are a novice and you should run on the ground, usually inside the harbor, usually it's going to be mud or soft sand or something like that, so there's not going to be no damage done, and you get right on a cell phone, called a towing company, you have a contract with, and they come and pull you off, and then the same evening you can brag to your friends how running on the ground is not a big thing,
Right.
and everything was fine. Only the problem is this, and now this is mainly for people who go cruise. If you find yourself in a place away from so-called civilization, where there is no one to depend on except yourself. So what we do if we should run on the ground? Now, very first thing is, especially if you hit the ground reasonably hard, it's to run downstairs and check the bilge if you're taking on any water. Because if your boat's sinking, that's the last thing you want to pull her off into a deeper water. So that's the first thing. The second thing, you jump in a dinghy, get some long road with a caging anchor, and try to row your dinghy, or if you have an engine on the dinghy, power away from your boat, and drop the anchor as far as you can, so a longer scope naturally will have a better holding power. And once your anchor is set, the next thing what I would do is this: I would check the tide, because unless if you are very, very unlucky and you run on the ground at the high tide, and the next high tide or the next few days will be lower than this one, you're in a big trouble, because you will not be able to float it off. So a time like that, really the only option you have is this here. You try to lighten your boat as much as you can. If she still didn't float off, some people say, why don't you put a boom out and let your wife hang on it? The problem with that idea is this, that especially modern boat, the booms are very short, wives are not that heavy, so they will not make a much, even if she is a 200-pounder, still that is not enough for a good-sized boat to make any
But it could
difference.
be worth it to try.
So what we've done in the past was this thing here. We take another anchor rope, you attach a second anchor on it, and you roll to the side of the boat, and then you drop the anchor down. Now, with the end of a rope, you take your main halyard from your main mast, which holds your sail up. You install a block on it, and you run that rope from your cadging anchor, which you drop to the side of your boat. You run to the block, and once you have that one done, you tie it on the rope till she is reasonably tight. You clean it off, and then you pull on your halyard with a winch. So say, for example, if you winch it up 200 pounds of pressure, if your mast is 40 feet tall, you're talking about 40 feet of foot-pounds. So suddenly 200 pounds of pressure becomes 8,000 pounds. A hell of a different from a wife hanging on the end of the boom. So what happens is you winch on that rope as much as you can. Naturally your boat will start leaning sideways because of the foot-pounds, and then at that time you try to power full blast you can reverse. Now, as soon as your boat slides off, what you do then is you put her right away to neutral. You release the rope so your boat's standing straight upright. Now then you can take time and pull all the ropes in and retrieve the anchors and hopefully sail or power away. Now that would be one way to do it. But if you find out then a tide, it's coming up or it's someplace in the middle, then if you cannot get off right away, you will have to wait till the next tide comes, high tide, so you can refloat. Now in a boat like ours, which has a not a deep keel and it's a full keel, it's not much of a problem as we many times clean our boat. So it's
You can always clean your bottom
while
and
you're
just
waiting.
kind of hang out.
Yeah, while you're waiting for tide to come up. There's more problem with a modern design, which is fin keel and so forth, and a deep keel, because then when you go over, it's not as easy.
Yeah, and if there's any waves, it could be a problem too, right?
Yes, but a very, very important thing is this. If you hit the bottom, naturally, water is very shallow, you observe what's the bottom. If there is any slope into the bottom, you must make sure then you put some weight on that side of a boat, preferably put the boom out and hang something on it, maybe even dinghy, because you want that boat to be leaning to the side of the slope. Because if you don't do that and your boat goes over downhill, then when the tides start coming up, before boat has a chance to right itself up, you will be getting water up on the deck through your scuppers, through your hatchway and so forth, and you will lose your boat. So it is utmost important, because we did actually saw a beautiful powerboat in the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
A man lost that because of that big mistake.
Yes, because the boat is laying in a very bad position. It's possible that the water's going to come up and flood the boat instead of letting it sit up before it has a chance to actually sit upright. So, let's see what's going to happen. Jules went down to the end of the dock to talk to the owner and put his 2 cents worth in.
So if you find out that you are someplace in between tides, so all you gotta do is prepare your boat. If she's gonna go down and lay down in her side, then everything is secure and everything's gonna be good. If you have some rocks close by, it's maybe even worth to take some of your cushions from the salon and put it on the side of the boat right when she starts laying down, because it's better to lose some cushions than have your hull damaged to the rough conditions of the bottom. Otherwise, you just gotta kick back and wait for the tide to come back up. You will not be able to be inside the boat, because it's very uncomfortable when a boat lay on the side, because you cannot walk inside the boat, you cannot lay down, you cannot do nothing, because it is
We've done it before. It's
it is
not
unbearable.
too fun.
So if you're close to shore, you just
get your dinghy right to the shore and wait there. It's going to take some time unless the tide just coming up. So you should be lucky around on the ground when the tide's coming up.
And it's just light mud or something.
So all you got to do is just to put your cage anchor tight on the rope and wait. And tide comes up a few more inches and you just get off of it. So all depends how lucky you are. But a few of those things I just told you, it's good to remember, because when an accident happens, most people panic, and instead of doing the right thing, they do something foolish, and you can pay the price by even losing your boat.
Okay, so I guess that's it for now. Thank you guys for stopping by, and for anybody who's wondering what happened to Storm Tactics Part 2, we're still working on it, and we should be putting it out soon.
Thank
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.